The first solo episode. And you're probably thinking, Danny, why the hell are you just walking around in your backyard right now?
Baby, where did you go? I'm still a little lost, a little lost. You call me Mr. Know-It-All, Mr. Know-It-All. Time's just a little lost, just a little lost.
This is the Business of Creation podcast. What is going on? And if you're listening on Spotify, first off, thank you for listening. I hope that the audio sounds good. Please leave a comment and let me know how it sounds on whatever platform you're consuming this on. So if you're listening, just so you know, there's a video companion to this. It should be audio video on all platforms, but yeah, I'm videoing this. My goal is to produce not just interviews on the channel or on the podcast, but also to produce solo episodes, because I have this theory that I'm working on. It's just a theory. Most podcasts, they rely on having two people. And I know why, right? I'm a producer. I get it. It's super easy. Not super easy in a bad way. It's just it's much easier to get a really good producer who can be like, hey, John Stamos, what's up? My name's Danny B Producing, and I, work with a really cool talent. And that's usually enough to get them to come in, whatever. In order to test a thesis and just not like sit and just ask a bunch of questions, start doing it, see what happens. So I'm testing the thesis. This is the first episode where it's just me. I know that at the very least, if this fails, I'll get some data from it. And if it doesn't fail, that's pretty cool, because we might be onto something. I think this will work for a few reasons. One, on the Business of Creation podcast, we'll just use what I know as an example. I interview amazing creators, so awesome people. I ask them the questions and they give me amazing answers. That's content. That's really good content. But the missing thing is that in the interview, because I want to showcase them, or I don't want to influence the conversation, and I don't want to make it about me. So this series on the podcast, whatever you want to call it, this experiment, is to deep dive into kind of how my brain works. Something I came up with was, we used to do vlogs. Vlogging got more impressive. You got people awesome people like Casey Neistat out there, and oh my gosh, so many. It could be Gary. Gary's one of the first OG vloggers. People got stuck in the production of it. And then when they posted the vlog and it didn't get all the views they wanted on YouTube, a lot of vloggers stopped vlogging. Why did they stop vlogging? They weren't making money. They weren't getting followers or views, whatever they were tracking as their metric of success. Whatever the creator was hoping to happen on YouTube with the blog didn't happen. And when you don't get the results you want, you had a couple people stand out. A lot of creators made their whole thing vlogging. And then a lot of creators moved on, right? Back to why would you vlog? Well, all right. So right now I'm in my backyard. The weather's nice. I have 30 minutes. And instead of trying to write a script for a solo episode of a podcast about what would Danny be producing, do about, LinkedIn or whatever. That stuff is anybody can find that now. It's not hard to find, if you want a certain output on social media, you have amazing content creators out there now. I know that wouldn't be valuable at all, because getting 1,000 followers or whatever metric, which also does not matter, it doesn't matter. If you want followers as your gauge of success, that's fine. But here's a thought for you. This goes up onto the Business of Creation podcast, right? Maybe I get 100 views. Now, I am pumped about 100 views. And y'all are probably laughing at me now. But here's the thing. I used to do theater, and I have performed for big audiences that were 25 people, dude. If we got 50 people for Beauty and the Beast, if we got 50 people in the audience, that's a lot of fucking people. That's so many people. That's 50 people. I'm trying to also locate my dog, Freya. There she is. Hi, baby. 50 people is a lot of people, dude. If you get 50 people to like a video or watch a video, 50 views, that's a lot of views. It's what do you do with those 50 views that matters. And I'm sorry, most people aren't thinking like that. So they're just like, okay, we're going to post the video. It's only got 50 views. Like, no, we failed as the creator when we posted it, got the 50 views, and we didn't convert that person to like, be like, oh, dude, I got to follow this guy. This is the value. If you've stuck around through this experiment, congrats. So let me get back to what is the purpose of this video podcast. The purpose is to shine a light in an attempt for me to better understand myself as a creator. You know, I'm not really talking to an audience right now. I'm talking to myself, but it's more publicly acceptable to do it as a vlog. So my idea is to take this, use it as a mirror for myself and say, hey, you know, where are you going with some of this stuff? What are your ideas? Like this episode is a thesis on starting up a solo podcast, right? Like a one person just talking for an extended period of time, which I just proved is difficult. And I went to acting school. And I think we're going to start hitting on the crux. This is the hard part. If you have a podcast and you can book guests, cool. Do that, but then you should try something different, because for like 5 years, everybody's grandmother is going to have a podcast, right? And they're going to call up other grandmothers and they're going to say, hey, Betty, we're cooking this weekend with, you know, Snoop Dogg. It's going to be very difficult to do something that is very lucrative right now. And like, it's going to be I think it's a couple $1 billion industry. I could be wrong. I think I might have heard trillion somewhere, but I'm not going to say numbers like that because I just make videos, dude. Podcasts and live streams. Old Betty and Lucy Liu and Snoop Dogg they're all going to be out competing you in like the next 3 years. So how can we get ahead of it now? And I looked at the top charts on podcasts, and then I looked at the top 50s on Spotify. I looked at it on Apple. I went on YouTube podcasts. I went down the rabbit hole. What I noticed, if you take 100 podcasts and you throw them up on the side of that barn back there, I would bet a hefty sum of money that out of 100 podcasts in the top 100, 70%, without me even, I should have looked that up because I'm sure that was AI could have told me, but like I bet you 70% include 2 people or more, which is what got me thinking about this idea. And I was like, oh, nobody's doing it, because filming for 30 minutes with your arm out like this, or sitting down at your desk and writing a script, that shit is hard. I've been doing it for a while. I like writing. I love it. Everything, you got to move fast. Scripting, storyboarding, rules of third, good lighting, different lighting techniques, Rembrandt lighting, all of these things that like we do know, we actually just don't have time to do all of them. So we can take the opportunity to kill a lot of birds with one stone, metaphorically. Please don't kill any birds. Let me pause. So get this, bear with me. You're going to metaphorically kill multiple birds with one stone, in that you can interview all your friends who make cool shit, share their stories, and also talk about yourself. And give yourself 30 minutes to an hour a day, either written or unwritten like this, and just force yourself to film with good video and good audio. Find something that provides value, real value. Like I just said, all the lighting, all the live streaming, all the tweeting, social media, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, you just talk about it, because somebody somewhere needs what you know, and you're already going to want to talk about it. So that's what I'm doing now. Don't think about podcasting and then you just like do it. You need to collect data. And because less than 50% of the top 100 podcasts literally have never done this before, they've probably done it before. It's just probably hard to do this consistently, but my goal is to do this inside, outside, just unscripted. I will work on getting it more succinct. Hopefully you guys can see the evolution of this theory as it kind of comes into my head. But I think that this might be something that could be both helpful as a creator for you to take the pressure off yourself of, oh man, like this is a cool idea, but like I can't post this on team socials, right? Like I'm not telling you to post this shit on team socials. You know, sign your brother up on Twitter, do whatever you got to do, and just post on something. Give it a whirl, see what happens, because if you're doing something that everybody else is doing, even if you start now, which is still early, like, damn, dude, I just started a podcast a week ago as an experiment. I'm like, holy shit, dude, I should have been doing this for like a long time. Now you could do that, but you're going to get outcompeted, dude. We're going to get outcompeted because every other person is doing, Betty and Lindy Lou and Snoop Dogg are doing their own podcasts. So what is going to make you stand out? Well, right now it's might stand out as this dude who's just filming himself in the backyard, walking around and pacing while he tries to explain a thesis or an idea he has and doesn't necessarily know how it's going to output yet, but he's trying to imagine it so that he can describe it to his audience. That's live production in a nutshell, by the way. If I walk away, she'll follow. That's my dark Rhea. It's like, okay, an idea, a thesis is just an idea until you put it into actionables. And I think we make a lot of excuses to not just do it, right? So here's the first attempt at doing it. I have a beautiful background. I mean, I'm sure if you're driving, you should not be watching this. But if anybody's watching this on YouTube or anywhere, let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments if you do turn the video on, like, what do you think of this barn if you've made it this far? Because I'm developing a thesis, but until I can put it into the world and get real world feedback on it, I'm never going to know until maybe one of those 30 podcasts that I reached out to like ask them like, hey, bro, congrats, you're top 100. But like, how did you do it? Listen, whether you know how to edit or you don't know how to edit, or you have an idea, the idea of this podcast or this like is to like create a different type of content that like somebody somewhere finds this enjoyable. A lot of people will probably fucking hate this. I mean, dude, this is distracting. I've been pacing. I've been walking around. My dog is probably shit in the background, but I had an idea. I have the means of doing it. I can record this video. I can edit it so it doesn't sound like complete shit. I can publish it to a bunch of different accounts for real data. And then I'll know literally within an hour if this is going to be good. Well, not an hour, right? Like you got to let content breathe, but you'll know pretty quickly whether something's a flop or not. But if you don't put anything out, then you're never going to actually get the data you need. You got to start producing shit, and especially producing something different. So this is something I think is difficult for people to do. So I'm confident in the fact that most people won't do this because talking for an elongated period of time while being on camera by yourself, talking to strangers tends to be very, very, it's not an easy thing to do. It's just you have to be a trained actor. I was born for that part. No, I'm not actually even a good actor. I think like being a good actor is just being honest, and that's what this is just me being honest. Here's something I'll leave you guys with. If you're sitting there and you're like, okay, this guy's making a little bit of sense, fuck it. I'll pick up a camera tomorrow. You sold me. All right, cool, dude. Here's what you're going to do. Pick up your phone tomorrow, film yourself talking for 30 minutes, and then you want to make sure that you make the audio and video as pleasurable of an experience from the viewer and the listener as possible, and then just send it somewhere. And I said send it somewhere because I'm learning something. It's not a hack. It's not even a platform tool. This is like a weird human thing. I've actually gotten to a point where instead of posting first, I'd prefer to send it to somebody. And I usually will always start with like a really close friend or a person that I trust. I have like, if you don't have those people, it's fine. You could use AI. Get somebody's feedback that you trust. And there's something in the act of sending a video to a friend with a text before you send it, because you don't want to just send videos. But I'll text my best friend and I'll be like, hey, Marshall, I'm going to send you something whenever you've got the time. Can you just tell me how it makes you feel? And he's like, oh, what are you trying to do? It's like, no. I'm not trying to do anything. I want you, my best friend, to tell me how this video makes you feel. And that's like the best feedback you're going to get. You're not going to get the best feedback from the comments. You're not going to get the best feedback from the comments. You're not going to get the best feedback from people who have an objective output, not in a bad way, but like there's different metrics that people weigh success against. But this is a metric that I think lies underneath as a foundation to all the other metrics. And it's that if a video can make somebody else feel something, then you provide a value. And it's kind of that if you build it, they will come with a little bit of production. Because I think we're getting into a time now where it's easy to just throw up cameras and mics if you have the access to it. You can throw up a camera and a mic and you can distribute it to whatever you want to. Anybody can have a voice, which means there's going to be a lot more voices on the internet, which also means there's going to be a lot more money on the internet, which is good for the creator economy, but not necessarily the best if you just make average content, or if you don't have the time to put into it full time, whatever it is. There's always going to be competition and it's only going to get harder. So do yourself a favor, try to get ahead of that curve. Is it get ahead of the curve or get ahead of, what are you eating? Freya, don't eat whatever that is. Oh my goodness, my dog's eating stuff. My thesis is going to be wrapped up here not wrapped up because it's just a thesis. What I'm testing for is to start putting in more work and thought into how content makes your viewer feel. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, there's a million ways to do it. So this is just the way that I choose to do it for my own brand. There's a million ways you can do this. This is just the way that I think may be the easiest way for me. And I'm a champion for whatever is the easiest way for you to get your plan into action. Just go do it. Stand up, take the pets outside, walk them, and then spend the next 30 minutes with your dog eating stuff off the ground, talking to yourself about things you know about or ideas that you have, and just have something interesting going on behind you. And then let your friends decide, not let your friends decide, but like send this to a couple people that you like. That's not how I'm going to do it. How I'm going to actually do it is just say, huck it, chuck it football, and we're going to post it and just see what happens. But I'm putting more thought into what when I get 20 views on this video, the idea is that those 20 people really, really feel something. I don't know what that feeling will be, but maybe they'll tell me in the comments, how did the video make you feel? Or how did the audio make you feel? If the audio is bad, it could make you feel bad. So that's fun. We're going to see how this video comes out. We're going to see how this audio podcast comes out. We're going to distribute it across the business of creation. And then I'm going to have to do 3, 4, 5 episodes of it. So 30 minutes to an hour, because my thesis has to do with length. I think there's a sweet spot, but we'll get into that in another episode. But yeah, maybe consider this like a mobile podcast. Like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Really, this is just an experiment. So if you've been here until the end of the video, this is your chance. I'm going to finally ask you to subscribe on whatever you're listening on, because I know it's going to be on a lot of things. If you're watching, let me know that you're watching. If you're listening, tell me that you're listening. This is where, like, I'm not asking for the engagement. I'm asking because the end of the data is you. And if you comment and you like or you subscribe, that if it gives data and information so that I can confirm or disprove my thesis about podcasting and content production. This has been the first episode of the Business of Creation podcast solo series. I'm your host, Danny B. Producing. If there's a topic you'd like me to ramble about, let me know. Thank you.